The late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Longevity has its rewards." Today we have gathered at this majestic building where students learn and where lions roar to honor several employees whose longevity over 20 years, whose devotion, whose loyalty, and mostly whose love for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff have strengthened the very foundation upon which we walk. We will begin this celebratory event with greetings and a reflective moment from Mrs. Janice Kearney Davis, Interim Director of Student Financial Services, followed by a musical selection from soprano Neosha Evans, a member of the class of 2014, and she will be accompanied on the piano by Miss Julia Buckingham, who has been associated with this great university since she was 11 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Kearney.
Good afternoon, everyone. We had a great morning, and what better way to take a break than have a delicious meal. And when I said I would do this, I said, if I say yes, I'll probably eat first, and I did. So I enjoyed that. It is a real pleasure to bring you greetings today and have the opportunity to speak with you just briefly, not only because I like my UAPB family, but this time of year is particularly exciting for me because you get to see people you might not have seen the whole year. You get to talk about changes in their lives and their places of work, and it's really just a good fellowship to have. Take a moment to pause and think and take a look around. Reflect a moment. You may reflect on an encounter you had with someone in the room. Maybe you'll think about the goals that you set for yourself. You may even reflect on the 20 pounds you lost last year and smile proudly to yourself. Or you may think like me about the 20 pounds you gained and say, what misery. You may even think about changes that have taken place at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff that were different a year ago than they are now, those changes that have taken place in that year's time, and think what a difference a year made. I encourage you to use your reflections to remind you of your many blessings, and also, in some instances, as lessons to help you understand those things you may need to change as you move forward in your life. During this hour, 13 individuals will be recognized and have over 260 combined years of service to UAPB. Now, they have many experiences to reflect upon. They have managed to stay the course, and I'm sure there have been times in their lives when they wondered, am I in the right place? In the final analysis, I think you can probably say it's been a win-win situation. They've made contributions to the university's success, and through their work and because of their employment, they have reaped many of their own rewards. As you enjoy your lunch, consider the next step. Let us all commit to beginning the new year in reflection of where we have been, anticipate new reflections moving forward that we can all look back on this time next year that prove our value to the university as employees, and that will make us even prouder to say that we work at UAPB. Lastly, as said by Michael C. Apollo, change is the only constant in life. Everything around us, everything we have, including our life, will change, and the more I accept this, the easier life will get. Take a few moments each day in this type of quiet reflection, and it can have a profound impact on the way you respond to life's challenges and situations. This type of reflection will create a pivotal shift in your life. I encourage you all to give it a try. Have a great day.
Hello, everyone. My name is Neosha Evans, and I'll be singing Right Up in the Cherry. Gonna ride up in the chariot sooner in the morning. Ride up in the chariot sooner in the morning. Ride up in the chariot sooner in the morning. And I hope I'll join the band. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh, Lord, have
Let's have another round of applause for Ms. Neosha Evans and her accompanist, Ms. Julia Buckingham. At this time, I would like to ask our presenters to please come on stage. Our Chancellor, Dr. Lawrence B. Alexander, Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Ms. Dr. Mary E. Benjamin, Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration, Mrs. Pauline Thomas, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Mr. Elbert Bennett, Director of Administrative Services and Human Resources, Mrs. Gladys Benford. In the order in which they were just introduced, they will now come to the microphone to honor our 20-year employees. Dr. Alexander.
Good afternoon. I'm Mrs. Gladys Benford. I'm not Dr. Alexander. Okay, we're going to start 20 years of service. We have so many people who have given so much time and so much energy to help the university accomplish and move to where it is today. And we'd just like to recognize those individuals today. It's only fitting that our own Dr. Mary E. Benjamin, the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, give her she plans this event and she gets to be honored today. Mrs. Janice P. Brantley, instructor in the Department of English. They are receiving certificates as well as years of service pins. A little token that they can carry on for years to come. Mr. Alton L. Davis, Public Safety Officer. Mrs. Linda J. Johnson, who is a Public Safety Supervisor in the same department. Dr. Jules E. King, Associate Professor in the Department of Business and Economics. Dr. Glenda F. Kennedy, Professor in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. Dr. Rebecca T. Lockman. She's professor in the Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries. Mrs. Ernestine J. McLaughlin. She's an education counselor within the Department of Career Services. Dr. Mansour Mortazavi, professor in the Department of Chemistry and Physics. Mrs. Carolyn F. Nance, Administrative Specialist 3 in the Department of Health, Physical Education and Recreation. Mr. David C. Bond, instructor in the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Okay, now with Mr. Vince J. Wiley. Okay, Project/Program Director, Department of Agriculture. And lastly but not least, Ms. Lucretia J. Williams. She's an instructor with the Department of Health, Physical Education and Recreation. Let's give all of our honorees another great round of applause. We're so thankful for all the service to the university, and we're going to ask everybody to come down and take a picture. Thank you so much, and if you run across either one of these individuals, shake their hands, give them a pat on the back. Thank you.
One more time, will our honorees please stand for one moment? All of our 20-year employees. And as you stand, we quote the words of that great song that says, "How can we say thanks for the things you have done for us? Things so undeserved, yet you do to prove your love for us. Voices of a million angels could not express our gratitude. And all that we are and ever hope to be, we owe it all to thee and to you. Thank you for 20 years of excellent service to this university." Our program will now continue with a couple of updates, a human resources update, Mrs. Gladys Benford, followed by affirmative action updates, Mrs. Karen Baker, Director of Affirmative Action. Benefits and wellness updates for Ms. Cynthia Anderson, Program Manager, Office of Human Resources. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. I won't keep you long. I have very few updates, but I do have some reminders as well to share. And our first update is I am so pleased to announce that the university was able to get a new position called the Director of Affirmative Action. And upon getting that position, we launched a search, and we do have the person that we need in place. She is Ms. Karen Baker, who will follow me. So I'm kind of introducing her a little bit now. But she will be she'll be doing training in all the protected classes as well as Title IX. And anytime that you need some specific training that you need, if you have any department that would like training on any specific topic, just let us know and we will develop that. The training will also be ongoing through the year for all faculty, staff, administrators, and we also will be doing some training for our students as well. Our next update is a board policy, which is Board Policy 405.6, and it states, and I'm going to read it in its entirety: an employee who has been dismissed for cause or who has been designated by their campus or division as not eligible for rehire shall not be eligible for reemployment within any of the University of Arkansas systems, campuses, units, or divisions. That's anywhere in the state, any part of the university. If an employee is dismissed for cause, will not be able to rehire anywhere. That includes the cooperative extension, Division of Agriculture, and any unit within the University of Arkansas system. And my reminders are, my first one is disclosure of family members. There's a form that we do have on the website, and this form is to be completed by the department or any interviewed applicants. This form is not completed by our office. It's not completed once they get to our office. It is done prior to the employee coming to our office. So you can send that form with the employee when you send them for their orientation or when you send them to fill out their paperwork for payroll, as long as they have that before it gets to our office and has been completed in its entirety. There is a portion that the supervisor has to initial, and that has to have those initials on there that you acknowledge the information on the form. Another update is reminder is a concurrent employment. We definitely need to have concurrent employment requests in prior to any individual employee performing duties for that concurrent appointment. So make sure that we have that information prior to asking someone to start working on concurrent employment. We need to have it up to Little Rock for approval and back. Then we will notify you that this employee has been approved for concurrent employment. Extra help appointments, I just like to remind you too that extra help appointments, employees can only work 1,500 hours per year, per fiscal year. Once that employee reaches the 1,500 hours, they must be sent home if they're not, if they haven't applied for and got accepted for a full-time regular position. And I really like for you all to help us out a lot in that area because that area kind of suffers a little bit. We have to do a lot of reminding, but just help us out a little bit. We're family, we want to be on the same page. And I think that concludes my updates and reminders. And you're going to hear from Ms. Karen Baker.
I must say that I am truly excited to be here. I live just up the road in Little Rock, and so I commute here every day. But just to tell you a little bit about me, I am a native Arkansan, educated here in Arkansas. And although I'm not a product of an HBCU, I was raised as a product of an HBCU. Let me tell you what I mean when I say that. The head of my household believed that their child could ultimately achieve more. So I'm not sure, even though I wasn't a product of this HBCU or any other HBCU, I'm sure just like a lot of you in this room, your parents expected more of you. So how many people in this room, although they're not a product of a institutionalized HBCU, you actually were raised as an HBCU? Anybody in this room? Did your parents not expect you to do more than what they did?
Yes.
That's what I mean when I call myself a product of being raised in an HBCU. With that being said, that since I've been here, and I've only been here a week, but I must say, not just here at the university, but my encounters here in the community have been warm, and I felt very welcome. And so I've been doing a lot of reading. It's kind of hard to get a direction on where you need to go if you don't understand where you've come from. And although I'm not a product of an HBCU as far as institutional-wise, being a product of an HBCU by being raised by people who felt like the next generation could do more, that's what I found to be true about the history of this institution. All the way back, and you may be asking, how does this tie into affirmative action? Well, that's what I want to share with you. The Civil Rights Act of 1871 was prior to the establishment of this institution. But because of that act, institutions like this one and many others have that act paved the way for its existence, as well as the legislation behind its existence. That act, now I'm about to spill to you several acts and legislative laws that have been passed, but I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I just want you to have a sense of what we're dealing with when we're talking about affirmative action. The Civil Rights Act of 1871, like I said, was a forefather of this establishment being founded. Title VII Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Age Discrimination Act was amended that act. Equal pay was also enacted in 1963. And then there was an enforcement agency. It's not enough just to pass the laws, but how do we enforce them? That's where EEOC came into existence in 1972. You may wonder, why do we need, as an HBCU, an affirmative action plan? Well, do we receive federal money? Do we receive federal funds? Those are some of the things our leadership touched on this morning. The initiatives when it comes to raising, doing research, obtaining grant money and things like that. So because we do receive that money, that is a driving initiative too behind affirmative action. Title VI of Civil Rights Act 1964 and the Executive Order 11246, they stipulate that if you receive government funds, then you need to be governed by an affirmative action plan. Now, although we're an HBCU, I had let me backtrack just a little bit. My background is about 20 years in human resources, 7 of which have been spent in higher ed. So I'm very familiar with change. So as we move forward, I thought that was a very appropriate thing, bridging the past to the future, UAPB and transition. And as we transition through the question that was asked to me as I managed some recruitment efforts in higher ed, why do we even have to have affirmative action? And if, for some of you who don't know, affirmative action covers a lot of things, including race, gender, national origin, veteran status, ADA, or persons with disabilities. But my answer to him was this: the day when we can truly evaluate people on their merit without biases will be the day that we can do away with affirmative action. But until then, we will use affirmative action to analyze and move forward with anything that we have to do. So that's why I had to go back and backtrack to give you a little history of why we came to where we are. And I could spew out to you all day long all these different numbers, all these different acts, but it means nothing if we don't apply what we know, which was so eloquently spoken by Ms. Cole this morning, the UAPB student, and Dr. Alexander, our new chancellor, and even some of the concerns by Dr. Bates, because ultimately it does take a team. It takes a team of people to get it done. And while, as you guys have made me feel welcome here, and I'm sure that the students will experience, and as the campus is revitalized with the new vision that our leadership has, my comment to one of the directors here just this week is that we'll get there. We may move slowly, but we'll get there. And so I'm looking forward to serving on this team with UAPB, with me being a product of being raised at the HBCU. But we want to keep this in mind. These things we know, but the real question is this: can we use the vehicles that have been given to us to be keepers of the Spirit? Keepers of the Spirit as outlined in the strategic plan of this great institution. That's the question. And so there will be, as I continue to learn and grow here at this institution, because I do have a lot of growth, but I see out here in this room, and based on the people that were awarded here today, their service awards, that I have a great pool of resources. And I look to benefit from those resources. And as I do, it will call for me to ask questions and to partner with you and to probe. And that was touched on this morning as well. So I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't feel intimidated. But I do look forward to serving with you here on this UAPB team.
Good evening. I'm going to give you the benefits and health updates. Effective January 1, 2013, you all are aware that we no longer have qual choice. And you should have received your new cards in the mail between November and December. If you have not received your card, please call Human Resources. We'll get you a temporary card and have a permanent one mailed to you. Now, your new card, if you notice, there was no prescription card attached. So now your card is one. It's your doctor card or your hospital card plus your prescription. And also, at the bottom of that card, if you have not noticed, it does say that Baptist Health is not a part of our network. And it is critical that you remember that. Even though some doctors are on the list and they may work in Pine Bluff, but they may send you to Baptist for some type of service. That is not going to be covered, okay? Also, there was no major design changes. Basically, whatever we had with quad choice, we have with UMR. No premium increases. Also, if you are in a certain type of plan, you receive letters to let you know that UMR was going to do the same type of program that Quad Choice had. Now, if you had any claims in 2012, those claims still go to Quad Choice. And that 800 number for Quad Choice is still the same. Now, any claims for 2013, they must go to UMR. Flexible spending account, that also changed. We had Quad Choice, now we have UMR. And we also have a debit card. Now, there is something about UMR. With the federal guidelines, if you do not have a substantial report or an accurate claim or accurate itemized bill, they will suspend your card until you take care of the situation. Also, we did have a vision plan increase. The vision plan actually increased from 20 to 90 cents. That depends upon what type of coverage you had at that time. Now, right now, on your table, I have a PowerPoint, but on your table, there are some graphs. Last year, if you recall, Steve Woods and Ann Kemp came on campus, and we were talking about how we received that large increase in premium last year, where it was 20%, in which employer did 10 and employee did 10. What I want you to do is look at this graph from 2010, 11, 12 and 13, make it 11, 12, and 13. As you can see hold on, let me get it started. Okay. As you can see in 2011, in the red, we were doing pretty good, but still we had some bad months. You see where we went almost $400,000 in the hole in March. And in 2012 was not a good year. As you can see, in January, we were $2.6 million in the hole. And you have to remember, we are a self-insured plan, which means all the premium that we receive are what we pay claims and administrative fees by and pharmacy by. Now, look at 2013, which is in the blue. It's almost in between 2011 and 12. So we are doing better, but we will have to do a little bit more. Now, also on the next slide, that right there will give you, it's also on your table, that will give you all of the university within the Arkansas system. It will show you the amount that they paid and we paid from July 1 of 2012 to June the 30th, 2012. So as you can see, our loss ratio was 104. Although there are others, but when you look at those others, those are basically your two-year university, which consists of like 156 employees. But right now, with the four-year university, we have the highest loss ratio. So now, the dental is not as bad as, it is pretty good. Dental is real good. And that's the next slide. And that is also on your table. So I really want you to get an understanding of what we are looking at with our health plan. And what happened with this, the University of Arkansas system, this is why they designed the disease management plan. Remember we had it with Quad Choice, we called it Choice Well? Well, now we have it with UMR. And this is the type of program that helps if you have chronic conditions such as asthma, hypertension, diabetic, and COPD. And one thing about these programs, you have to call UMR to enroll in them. And also with the UMR, you call and they give you a coach. Beginning from January, actually until last week, if you talk with the coach for 3 times, it originally started 3 times between January and April, you got a $100 gift card. Right now, they stopped it last week. So if some of you all were participating and did the 3 calls, it's still a possibility that your $100 gift card is on the way. Also, with those programs, you will diabetic, healthy heart, that's for your hypertension. You will receive no copay for your generic medication. It has to be a generic medication. Also, you will receive a glucose meter or a blood pressure machine. But the copay can be not no more than $70. That's when they just no cost. It goes up to $70. Also, you will receive health e-notes in the mail to let you know how you're doing and to give you some suggestions of what type of diet. And one good thing about UMR that Quad-Choice did not have, Quad-Choice did not have a health tool in which you could go online and track your daily calories or personalize your lesson plan. And they did not have where the 1-800 number for nurse line was like 24/7. They have that now, and also they have a library full of about 1,100 autos on different types of situations, like for diabetes, different videos. Also, you can get your insulin pumps. Now, one thing about the insulin pumps and your glucose meter, it has to come from certain manufacturers. And those manufacturers are Abbott and Bayer. Now, Monday, we will have a newsletter out with all of this information. It'll have a 1-800 number where you can call and everything to get this information. Now, the last one that was implemented was the nutritional counseling and weight loss. Actually, that's a 3-level program. The first level, it will just give you an annual visit of a registered dietitian that has to be in the network. Now, sometimes your hospital, your in-network hospital, have registered dietitians, but you can only get one. And that one is just your annual visit. Now, when your BMI gets higher than 27 or greater, you can get 4 visits. Now, while you're doing this, you definitely have to talk to a coach, and the coach would have to pre-authorize it. And then when you get to level 3, which is your BMI is 31 or higher, you will have to have a coach. You will have to report what you eat. You will have to have a daily tracking system. So those are the programs that are offered to us from UMR and U of A system. Also, I want to talk about the on-life wellness. As you know, last year in October, the U of A system kicked out the wellness program called On Life. And during that time, you were supposed to do a biometric screening and a health assessment. If you did those 2 things, you received $25 gift card in the mail. That is going to happen again this year, starting in October. Now, Monday, we will have biometric screening here. We will have a computer set up upstairs where you can go online and do your health assessment. Once you do all of this, just remember that the gift card will not kick in until August 1st. And also, I found out that not only you do not have to go online, they will have paper health assessment. Now, while I am on that, can I go to the next slide? Hello? Okay. Let's talk about the biometric screening last year. As you can see, there was 24,249 employees of the University of Arkansas system that was eligible for the biometric, but only 1,452 participated. Now, if you look at UAPB, there's 785 eligible. Okay. The health assessment was 69, and then your screening was 39. Engaged in coaches was 20. No one achieved any coaching goal, but that 150 points. If you notice, I sent out an email that says we have winners of $250. That's when they reach that 150 points. And what I mean by reach 150 points is when you go on complete your health assessment, you're going to personalize everything. And that means that you can go online and complete a class. That may be worth 100 points. You may talk to a nurse on the phone or online. That may be 5 points. So within a quarter, if you do 150 points, you will get put into the pool of UAPB to win a $250 gift, because every campus have their own, okay? One more thing, healthcare reform. I know that Ms. Thomas sent out something the beginning of the fiscal year to let you all know that part of the healthcare reform is saying that any employee, extra help, part-time, graduate assistant, if they work an average of 30 hours a week, next year in January, we will have to start offering them benefits. We're going to Human Resources, will definitely have workshops, so that is coming up in the future. Okay, Wellness Education Day is definitely Monday. We would love for everyone to come out. Once you finish your departmental or divisional meeting, just come on, because we're going to have registration open. So come on in and have lunch with us, a couple concurrent sessions, and physical activities. Okay. And just look for the newsletter Monday, and it'll tell you our upcoming activities that we have. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being an excellent audience today. Give yourselves a big round of applause. We also want to thank Mr. Richard Reeders, our videographer for this event. Let's give Mr. Reeders a round of applause.